Hello everybody and welcome to TRS Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, that's savings that is, Matt Trotz. Thanks so much for joining me today. Boy, I tell you what, I am extremely excited to bring you some more awesome products and some extremely big time savings right here on TRS Live. But first and foremost, if you haven't yet, please follow along on our Facebook, follow along on YouTube, Instagram, all the channels that have TRS Live on them. And while you're doing that, The Reel Shot, which is the company that we're talking about today, I'm actually live overlooking the sales floor of The Reel Shot. Follow them on your socials as well. Do me one other thing, go to thereelshot.com. All the products I'm talking about today are available and will be available on thereelshot.com. I'm going to give you the prices, I'm going to give you the codes to find all these products over there as well. And one last thing, Fix TV, the video on demand platform. They have some great savings for you as well. So if you sign up for Fix TV and become a subscriber over there at $5.99 a month, what we're automatically going to do is give you a $5 credit to thereelshot.com. It's basically an online gift card. So it's really simple. You sign up. There are going to be a couple email processes that you're going to have with Lance Kozik. He's going to ask you to log in to thereelshot.com and bing, bang, boom, every month you'll get a $5 credit that you can use right here on TRS Live. So let's get right into it. This one here is no Ketch 22. It's actually a Ketch 32, and we're talking about the Carbonite Fish Measuring Board. So right here in front of me, you see it. This is a 32-inch measuring board. And you asked me, you're like, okay, Trotz, literally, it's a measuring board. And that's exactly what it is. But let's give you a little history about the Ketch company. So, premium outdoor products, the manufacturer that specializes in fishing products and accessories. A couple other things real quick. All Ketch products are made 100%, are American made and labor, with no expectations. So you know that when you purchase this Ketch board, you're going to get it made here in the US of A, and the labor is also made here. Remember, they say no expectations to that. So biggest thing about this board is durability, right? This American-made product is going to be super durable. If you're a tournament angler, if you're a recreational angler, where you need to get to the exact measurements, this 32-inch board is going to help you do that. You can see right here, you know, there's a lot of good, let's get into it. Bump board right here, right? Nose the fish up, and you're going to get your exact measurement. So if you are a tournament angler and your lake has a slot limit, or you know that you're away to, you know, a lot of formats out there, head-to-head included, are going off of weight, or they're going off of inch weight to weight measurements. This Ketch board is one that you're going to see a lot of tournament formats using. It's precise. It's the measurements are dead on. This is definitely one that you're going to add to your arsenal. And as you see on the screen right now, we have the code. It's KCF, and that's MB. And that's going to save you $1. So right now, normal retail price on this board through the Reel Shot is $19.99. You're going to get it today for $18.99. So constructed with lightweight materials that are durable enough to handle some abuse. So let's talk about that, right? Like, this board will be perfect for walleye anglers, northern pike anglers, ocean anglers, anglers that are, you know, targeting some of those medium, nice size fish, you know, medium, nice size, that doesn't even make sense. But, you know, just some awesome targeted species here that you're going to need that 32-inch measurement. You talk about a lot of lakes here in Wisconsin or maybe Minnesota or the Midwest, right? Like 32 inches is maybe your minimum the pike's got to be in order to keep that. A big time walleye is that 32-inch mark, right? But a lot of them are going to have slot limits. With this board, the ability to bump the face, the nose of the fish up here, and pinch the tail and get your precise measurements on this Ketch board is one of the great aspects of it too. It's also cradled to help hold the fish. Kind of hold that fish down there. You know, it's deep enough where it's going to support that fish, so you don't have to worry about it flopping around. You just support it. You bump the nose up here, you pinch the tail, you get your precise measurements. Lightweight material. It's precisely etched down to the increments. The Ketch measuring board, this 32-inch board, provides accurate. The most accurate measurements you can simply ask for at a glance, and it's fully functional. So we talked about the durability wise, lightweight wise, right? I mean, storing this thing in a boat, it's getting used and abused. You want something that's going to be durable, that when you pull it out, you're going to get those accurate, precise measurements, especially in a tournament format, and even more in a slot limit type situation where you can only keep a fish X amount or over or under. You need to have those precise measurements, because the last thing you want to do is get checked and not have that fish be a quality fish as far as a keeper. So the Ketch 32-inch board is one of those quality American-made products, and it's sold obviously right here at the Reel Shot. And remember, right now, $19.99 is the normal retail price. We're taking $1 off this board. So in a fixed member, so we talked about that. If you're a fixed TV member and you get that added $5 bonus just for signing up for a fixed subscription, you know, that's something that you're going to be able to save. You're going to use that $5 to save on this board. And because fishing season is fully going on right now, this is one of those things that you're going to want to use, you're going to want to pick up and just have it in the arsenal. So this Ketch 32-inch board, lightweight, American-made, 32 inches all the way up here, precisely etched, and it's even grooved. If you feel across this thing, I'll do my best to describe it. I mean, it almost feels like sandpaper. So what that means is when this fish is sitting in this board, because it's cradled, this fish is not going to be able to slide a whole lot, because you have it properly bumped up to the nose and you're pinching the tail. With this grooved and etched number system that's on here, you're going to be able to get it to the exact measurements. You're not going to worry about that fish sliding, even with a little bit of water that might be on there. You know, the fact that it's cupped here at the end, the water can drain out properly. There's even holes on the backside. If you wanted to put a handle on it, the last thing you want is this board to go over the side of the boat, so you could put a handle on it. There was a couple of ropes, pin some ropes in there, but the board is etched. It feels really nice. It's very like a sandpaper texture to it. Precise measurements. American made is one of the key things here. I mean, so often right now, a lot of people are looking for that American made, that stamped logo that says it's made right here in the USA. This Ketch 32-inch board has that right on here. So again, let's go over it really quickly one last time. Normally $19.99. If you use this code KCFMB on the Reel Shot search bar, it's going to take you right to this bar, and you're going to save $1. Now, if you are a fixed TV member, if you want, you can use that $5 credit. You get that $5 credit once a month. You can use it to any of these products. Maybe this Ketch board is that one. Father's Day is coming up. Because a lot of tournaments are going to this Ketch measure, release, catch, measure, then enter it in, and you get your weight measurements. A good quality bump board is something that you're going to want to see. So you see all the information's on your screen. American made, they believe in it. The laborers, everything here, American made, American labor, right here in the US of A, for a great product. So don't dilly-dally. Go ahead and get yourself some. Catch up with the competition with one of these great 32-inch boards. So one last time, KCFMB. Enter then that search bar on the Reel Shot. You're going to see that you're going to take $1 off. $18.99 right now is the awesome price of this 32-inch board. Etched numbering, precise numbering, bump boards on it. The ability. I got a question. Does this float? Boy, I guess I didn't catch that one, but I mean, I wouldn't test it. That's why you got these handles on here. It could potentially float, but it's pretty heavy duty. I mean, it's super durable, so I wouldn't test that. But go ahead and catch yourself some of these. But the Reel Shot, again, enter in KCFMB for this Ketch 32 board. Take $1 off, and we're going to continue on, man. We got a bunch more savings that you can catch as well here on TRS Live, and I'm pretty excited about some of these next products that are coming forth. We're actually going to get a couple of phone calls rolling on here, and here's the next product that you see. This is a Coot Trollmaster Special. This is a SLX 8-foot telescopic trolling rod in the medium fast, and we're actually going to get Paul Coot Williams on the line, and he's going to tell us all about this great rod that's coming up next. So enjoy these brief commercials, and we'll be right back. Hey, it's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. All right, welcome back everybody to TRS Live. I am Matt Trotz, your host, and I'm excited to introduce the upcoming next product here. This is again the Coots Trollmaster. This is a special SLX 8-foot telescopic trolling rod. And for this one here, I'm even more excited because instead of me just kind of reading through some of my notes, we're actually going to be able to talk to Paul Coot Williams, the creator of this rod, and creates so many other great products. So here on TRS Live, I want to tell you all the truth, but it's for us, it's the ability to get the knowledge behind the company and to get everything that you need to know. So when you're purchasing a quality product here from the Real Shot and from the Coot brand, you know exactly what you're getting. So hey Coot, can you hear me?
Yes sir, I'm here.
Hey, what are you up to, buddy?
I'm out pre-fishing right now for a couple tournaments this weekend and head-to-head next week.
Oh, that's right. So Paul, for those who don't know, Paul Coot Williams is signed up for the Bago Beatdown 2 on Lake Winnebago. How's the fishing? Can you give us a little insight?
Well, I only caught 3 walleyes today, a 15 and a half, a 19 and a 21. Pretty slow right now for me, but we'll get on more fish.
So the method, are you trolling today?
Yes, I'm trolling out in the mud. I love open water trolling. That's my forte. I just love doing this, figuring out different lures, different depths, and all that kind of stuff. So it's been fun, but a lot of sheephead today too.
So, okay. So that actually works out really well that you're on Lake Winnebago. Are you using, obviously, the Coots Trollmaster rod right now?
Oh yeah, I got my 8-footers here.
So while we got you, we don't want to take up a whole lot of your time, but I mean, tell us all about the creation of this rod and some of the benefits and some of the components why you feel, Paul Coot Williams, this is the rod that you trust day in and day out.
Well, 3 years ago, I approached HT. They're very good friends of mine. They helped me to do other products. And I asked Ken Grohl, the owner, I said, can you help me design a trolling rod? Because I want an affordable trolling rod for people that can buy, and it's good quality. So we came up with this design, and I've been running it for the last 3 years. I've sold 1,600 pieces already, and I got another 1,000 coming next week, which is great. So this 8-foot telescopic rod collapses down to 6'9". There's modifications that I did. I shortened the butt up by 3 inches. There's 2 metal reel seats on there, which is a strong point to hold your reels and also bigger reels. The thumb screw is on the back side of the reel. This is where you can thread up and make it nice and tight. The Foregrip is a triangular Foregrip. It conforms right to your hand, so you're not going to have any roll or twist on that Foregrip. And it also has the a lure saver hook there, and also they're all stainless steel eyes on mine. It's a graphite rod. It has lots of sensitivity. It's got a good whip on the end when you're pulling boards and waves. It acts like a shock absorber up there. So I've been pretty happy, and a lot of great comments with these rods.
Oh man, I know at the Reel Shot we sell a ton of these rods, and I want to kind of break down some of the components first and foremost that you went over there. Because I mean, as I'm holding this rod in my hand, the first thing I notice is it's extremely light. Do you kind of remember some of the weight that this rod has?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, that's 5.1 ounces.
Dude, it is extremely light, and it feels really nice too. And the next thing I want to kind of get into here, and you hit on it briefly, is talk about that Foregrip. What was the concept behind that triangular Foregrip?
Well, I've had a lot of trolling rods in my hands, and they always had the reel seat with the foregrip, and I never liked that because every time you're battling a nice fish, it's always twisting and loosening up the reel. We don't want the reel to fall off playing a fish, so that's why I put the reel seat thumb screw on the back side, and the foregrip. I just love it because it conforms right to your hand.
It really does, and I that's the other thing I noticed right away is grabbing this rod is it literally does conform to the hand very nice. And what a genius concept to come up with that thumb screw on the backside. I mean, this thing is full of technology. And okay, so here's one question. A lot of times when you're putting a rod like this, you know, in the rod holder as you're trolling, some guys prefer that longer butt to get it out, maybe clear the boards and everything like that. What was your idea behind going with the shorter butt?
It's more, it helps kids when they're also reeling the fish in. And another good point is the rod does not stick so far into your boat because a lot of these boats have side compartments. And you can't lift up the side compartment with that such a long rod in there now. And with the shorter butt, it makes it a lot easier right now.
So yeah, and again, it's just all kinds of design features that make a ton of sense. What did you say this rod collapses down to?
6'9".
6'9". So that'll pretty much fit in every rod locker that's out there, right?
Yes, yes.
This is, man, I mean, and okay, so talk about the length to the action on this 8-foot rod. I mean, I know we have an 8'6", that's a medium, and with the fast, I mean, talk about the application that this rod is going to be perfect for.
Well, it's definitely designed for pulling boards, which I'm doing right now. And I also have a dead stick out, which means I'm actually using a 2-ounce weight and a kill zone for a dead stick on the side of the boat. I do that a lot on the open water trolling, and also I like pulling dead sticks in the river with slow depth and flies. It works great for that.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is awesome. And let's get into the guides a little bit. Can you talk about the guides that you went with for this rod?
Yep, I went with stainless steel. I didn't care for ceramic because it seemed like a lot of those ceramic guides were popping out all the time. So I opted to go with the stainless steel one. So now you don't have to worry about rust either.
Yeah, that's, man, it's so many great ideas. Hey, now, since you have so many great ideas that's built into one rod, and again, we're talking about the Coots Trollmaster. This is the SLX and the 8-foot. Tell the fans out here at TRS Live a little bit about your background and how you come up with some of these ideas.
I've always been taught to never criticize another man's work unless I can do it better, and that's why I take a product and I try to tweak it and make it better. The trolling rod system, I had to come up with something better that's more affordable and durability. My Firefly Lights came from just trolling at night with other products, and I came up with a better design for that one. The Magnet Go, I love the Magnet Go. Everybody does too for your landing nets. Magnet 4-pound system hooks up, releases when you get the fish in the net. Then I have the Rattling Wasp on. I actually kind of copied Selmo, but I made enough changes so I wouldn't have any patent infringements or nothing like that. And actually, the owner from Poland called me. He said, "You copied my lures." I said, "No, I didn't. I made it better," and he hung up on me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just like reinventing the wheel a little bit, you know, on certain products because it seems like there's always something that can be tweaked or made better, and that's why I plan on doing it all the time. I even have a ice fishing thing that'll be coming out in 2024 now.
Whoa! Is this a little tidbit of information, a little insider secret? Can you give us a little sneak peek of what that might be?
Well, you know, I'm pretty well known for summer fishing, but I do a lot of ice fishing too. So I finally designed something for HT. Like I said, I took one of their products and I made it totally different and and more adaptable for different conditions. And they just loved it when I first presented it to them. So this winter, I got a bunch of pro staffers that are going to be testing this out to make sure it's all good and tweaked right. And then hopefully it'll be on the market 24 then.
Oh, that's exciting. So the question I have too is, I mean, you've talked about a lot of your inventions, a lot of the products that you went with. Like, do you remember exactly what your first invention that you made was?
That was back in 2004. I came up with the Coots lure kit, and I had two kits, the Coot 1 and Coot 2, and each kit contained 19 pieces in it, and you could actually design over 1,000 lures with that kit in your boat. It was all interchangeable, and that's what first started my whole process with worm harnessing and flutter spoons and all that.
Holy man. So, I mean, that was the first, and it just developed into there. I mean, and again, so we're talking about the Coots Troll Master. This is the SLX 8-foot telescopic rod. Again, on your screen, you're going to see it's CT-S8TR. So I gotta ask, where did the nickname Coot come from?
Well, I grew up as a duck hunter from my dad. He shot a lot of coots, and that's how I ended up getting my nickname, Coot, or Coot Man.
Okay.
So I shot a lot of coots in my younger days.
That a boy. And so it just kind of stuck, huh?
Well, yeah, that's about it.
Well, a lot like your great ideas they have, right? I mean, it's just something that, you know, you kind of went with, it stuck, and I mean, it just ended up being the great name and the great products that we have here. So, and okay, so let's talk about this. The rod that we have in hand here is normal retail price for $49.99. We're going to give it to the TRS Live fans for $10 off. That's $39.99. What about hitting that high-end price point at that extremely affordable price? What did you feel was missing, you know, at that mid-range price point that you're going to give all these high-end features away? I mean, really, realistically, this could be a $90 rod all day long.
It could, but, you know, I want people to go out and purchase something that you know is going to be quality without a high price. And to have a $100 trolling rod is just, to me, is insane. And I can prove it right here. These trolling rods work great. Everybody loves the sensitivity of them and the lightweight. So that's why my goal is met. I've done it.
Yeah, and I love that fact. I mean, let's get people into the outdoors. Let's not sticker shock them away from even getting into something like that. And, you know, working at the Reel Shot here, that's one thing we get a lot of. What's a great trolling rod at a very affordable price? And you knocked it out of the ballpark when you brought this rod in, when you came up with this. Because when did you release this rod again to the market?
That would be 3 years ago.
Okay, and it's been selling like hotcakes for us ever since. I mean, it's such a great rod, and I love again the triangular foregrip, the shortened butt to be a lot more maneuverable for men, women, and kids when they're getting into. And that's one thing, Coot, that you do a lot of. I mean, getting kids introduced into the outdoors is one big thing, and you know, to think about the kid in mind when you're trolling. I mean, let's make something that could be potentially slow, let's make it super exciting and getting kids involved. I love that fact.
Yeah. I'll be doing the Mercury Kid Tournament July 24th, a little tweak out there. That's over at Skipper Bud's. That's always a great time taking these kids out. And we do the CPR format with them. We take pictures, put it on the Donkey amp and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of treat them like they are a pro with me that day.
That's awesome. I mean, talk about, okay, so how many days do you spend on the water typically each year, on a good year, let's say?
Well, don't tell my wife. It's probably over 100.
Oh. And I mean, the cool thing is we're so passionate on American made and locally made. I mean, the knowledge that you have, a lot of people don't know this, but you're right around the Fox Valley area, right?
Yeah, I live down in south of Oshkosh. I've pretty much been here all my life. I was a firefighter in Appleton for 28 years, retired from out of there. Great place to live and work. So I'm happy to be retired and doing what I love, the passion of fishing now.
So, yeah, and that's great because like it gives you a lot more time and it gives a lot more time out to our fans for you to come up with some more creative ideas. Like you said, you got an ice fishing product, coming up. But I just absolutely love the weight and feel of this 8-foot SLX rod. And I mean, the engraving here too, I mean, it looks so fancy. You got the Troll Master written right in there, designed pro fisherman Paul Coote Williams. How many tournaments you got coming up this season, Paul, besides head-to-head?
This weekend I have Van Dyne, and I have then Sunday's Sheboygan Walleye Club. Then I got the law enforcement tournament after the Merck National. Then I just do the Sheboygan Walleye Club. But I'm trying to wean my waist away from the tournaments. I just have so much fun taking my friends out fishing. I just came back from Lake Erie. I spent 6 weeks over there with my friends. It was awesome.
How's the fishing? Really good out there right now?
Oh, I'm spoiled. It's hard to come back to Winnebago and get little fish.
So, okay, we're hitting on this 8-foot rod. Now, the availability of the 8'6" is something that the Reel Shot carries as well. So, compare, when would you go from the 8-footer to the 8'6"? What are you looking for when you want to go to that little extra rod?
Well, it wasn't so much my preference, it's other customers' preference. I try to give the customer what they want. A lot of the guys like the 8'6" when they troll harnesses. It's got a little bit more limber to it to absorb shock on the boards if it's rough, if they're pulling harnesses. But I try to give the customer what they want. Like I got 7-foot one-piecers coming in right now. Some guys just prefer one piece, so I try to cater to the customer.
Yep, and I love that fact. I mean, it's again, like this is one thing that we try to do, and especially on the sales floor for the Reel Shot, is listen to what the needs and the wants of the customers are, right? Like we can't obviously carry everything, but if you can get that niche that you know that everybody wants, and this rod is one of those rods, and I love the fact, Coot, too, that you know that this is a high-end rod at a very affordable price. And the thing about it, too, here in Wisconsin, you can run, how many rods can you run per angler in the state of Wisconsin, for those who don't know?
You can run 3 rods per person. So today I'm only running 3 because I'm all by myself. I wish I had another person in there because, and most of the time, if I get 4 people, I can run 12 rods in my boat.
Yeah. But I mean, the point of that is so if you're one person or 2 people, right, that's 3, that's 6 potential rods. And if you're buying rods for that $90 price point, that adds up extremely quick. So this, at a $39 price on a special right now, this is an absolutely amazing deal. And I highly encourage people while they're on the Reel Shot, again, it's CTS8TR. Enter that into the search tab. It's going to bring you up to this Coote's Troll Master. This is a special. It's the SLX 8-foot telescoping rod. And I mean, let me ask you this, Coot. As a beginner troller, do you lose any of the features with the rod that it's telescoping, or that just adds to the benefits?
Mostly because of the telescopic rod, it's because of rod storage. It has really nothing to do with the playing of the fish or nothing like that. It's just more or less rod storage. That's all it is.
Yep, and it makes a ton of sense. I mean, the thing about it is it fits tight. Once you have it telescoped all the way out to that 8-foot point, there's no chance that it's going to collapse on its own. Plus, just with a little slight twist of it, you know, it is right back in there. Is there any special storage tips that you would recommend when you're storing these rods, whether it's in the boat on a normal day or just in the off season? Is there anything special you need to do, or it's so durable that just set it where you need to be and you just move on?
Normally in my boat, I put rod socks on mine because I would hate to say this, about 20 rods in my rod locker because I got it all set up for certain fishing types, but that'll actually help prevent any damage to the eyes or your lines. So rod socks are always a great thing to have on the rod.
Perfect. Now, I want to ask another question. We're talking a lot about this great rod that we have here at the Reel Shot. What reel for this 8-foot rod? Can you talk about what your Coote Paul Williams preferred reel is for this rod?
Well, I'm a Daiwa guy. I've been using Daiwa for almost 30 years. I use the 27 LC line counters, and it's got the double rubber paddle reel, and I love that because it's easy. Your fingers don't get sore holding it. And when I take out kids, they have something they can hang on to. It's simple and easy for them.
So, I mean, the Daiwa, there's the Akuma stuff. All this would be a good pair. How important is weight when you're looking for a quality trolling setup?
Mean weight of the rod?
Yeah, the weight of the rod. Yep, the overall weight. Does that really matter a whole lot, or unless you're like a young kid or something like that? Is that more the important time?
Well, I went to the graphite because it's sensitivity, it's lighter weight. And if you went through fiberglass, it's going to be a little bit heavier and more cumbersome. So that's why I prefer a graphite. You know, it's kind of insane to have a graphite trolling rod, but after I got this thing going, it blew my mind how great it was.
Yep, and then like you said, this is a fast tip, and that gives a little play as the boards, potentially when the boards go back, like you're hopefully experiencing more and more today as you're pre-fishing for the next head-to-head event. So I want to talk a little bit about that for a brief moment. How are the fish, what's the fish health like right now on Lake Winnebago?
Well, it's only my second day back in Winnebago, so I don't have too much info besides the couple walleyes I did catch today, but I actually got 2 boards going back right now as we're talking.
Well, hey, this is a perfect time. So again, we'll kind of wrap it up with you, Coot. I do appreciate you making the time today. Again, you got a great social media following. Could you just kind of tell people where they could follow you on your socials as well?
Yeah, you can go to my TikTok at Coot's Lures. I got over 52,000 people following me here. I get a lot of great comments, especially when I fish Lake Erie. I try to give out reports. I try to give out information to people where I'm doing it, how I'm doing it. Like I say, I always want people to go out and catch fish. So Facebook, you can Coot's Lures there. My YouTube channel has got over 2,100 following there. Especially on my YouTube, I do more in-depth talking about certain rod setups, how I do things in my boat, all that kind of stuff. So it's all great information. Just check it out.
Well, cool. We appreciate it, Coot. Now go catch those fish, man, and we'll talk to you next week during the head-to-head event.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot. So that, everybody, was Paul Coot Williams, the creator of the SLX. This is the Coot's Troll Master SLX 8-foot telescopic rod. And like he said, man, he told you all the benefits to this rod. Man, the titanium guides. This is one here, and I thank you, Aaron, for bringing that video up. That triangular foregrip, that's something to me that just absolutely makes sense. The more I hold it in my hand, especially if you do have some smaller hands, whether you're a young child or a woman with a little bit smaller hands, this thing just fits so nice in the grip. I love it. I mean, I think there's other applications for this grip with some other rods. The other thing too that was so super smart that he did, he put the thumb screw on the tail end of the butt seat here. That just makes a ton of sense. So again, everybody, you heard it from Coot himself. The man has been inventing for a long time. He has so many great products that the Reel Shot carries. So, I mean, you got to go ahead and check it out. And at $10 off right now, normal retail price $49.99, you're going to get this one for $39.99. And if you elect to use your Fixed TV $5 coupon this month, you can also take another $5 off that price with a Fixed TV subscription. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. Yet you got to buy, you heard Coot, I mean, 3 lines in Wisconsin. Check your local listings depending on what state you are with your DNR regulations, how many rods, but normally at a $49.99 price range, this is an extremely high-end rod at a great price. And we're going to give you $10 off here. You see all the information on your code right now, so enter it in on your monitor. It's CTS8TR. This is a phenomenal product. Go ahead and get a couple of them. Again, Father's Day is coming up. Birthdays are coming up. It's trolling season. You heard Coot talking about he's out in the mud in Lake Winnebago. That's usually something that starts to get really hot this time of year. And the other cool thing too is you can watch Coot next week on head-to-head fishing on Fixed TV. Use this exact rod, this 8-foot telescopic rod, out on a head-to-head event. You're going to be able to listen and witness and get the testimonial from the man himself during this head-to-head event. So again, everybody, this is a great product. One last time, normal retail price $49.99. We're taking $10 off right now. This is a one model we got to clear out because you heard him. He's got 1,000 models coming in. But with the way everything is going right now, he said they should be here next week. We don't know if there's a delay right now. We don't know if those rods are going to be delayed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks, maybe further on, more months like this. So right now, take advantage of $10 off. Fixed TV subscribers may get an additional $5 off if you have your $5 coupon left. So just get this rod. This is one last time, the Coots Troll Master. This is a SLX 8-foot telescopic rod. This is a great rod. Graphite, lightweight. He said 5 ounces. This thing feels great. Take that money that you're saving, pair it with a Daiwa reel, pair it with an Akuma reel that you're finding on the Reel Shot website. This is a great product. And speaking of reels, that's what we're coming up with next. We are going to go to a decent reel right now. This is the next product. This is from 13 Fishing. It's the Decent Ice Reel. This is a 2 7-to-1 left-handed retrieve. I'm excited to talk about this one. And I think we're actually going to get another Reel Shot guest up here today to talk to you about this rod. So, I'm sorry, this reel. So this is what's coming up next, but we're going to go to some brief commercial breaks, and we're going to be coming back with the 13 Decent Ice Reel. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. We are ready to roll into the next product. This is the 13 Fishing Decent Ice Reel. And Tyson Hansen is joining me from the Reel Shot.
Absolutely.
How decent is this reel for fishing?
It's more than decent. It's a phenomenal product. One that I almost use exclusively. So
really?
Whatever deal we're giving away on this reel is well worth the buy to start off with.
Really?
Because I buy these all at full price and have for, I think, since 2018 when they came out.
Well, do you want to know what the deal is?
So yeah, we might as well start off with that.
Yep, $40 normal retail, yep. $10 off, $30.
That's a good deal.
That's an extremely good deal.
Absolutely. There's a ton of features packed in this reel. It's also one of the most convenient reels to use if you've never used an inline style reel before. So just to touch on a couple main features on this thing, the soft touch frame, super. Is it
soft?
It doesn't feel like you're holding metal all day, which is the biggest thing. So when you're ice fishing, things get cold, and you're obviously out in the elements and stuff like that. It does not feel like you're holding a block of aluminum all day, which obviously would feel extremely cold. That kind of coating over the top, that soft touch rubber, it just feels like it just doesn't get as cold.
Do you normally, when you're ice fishing, are you a pistol gripper like this, or do you still go between the fingers?
So this is how I'm jigging. I always have a finger on the blank, and that is why. If you're holding it like this, you can hold your finger out there. I just feel like it's a little more uncomfortable, especially when you don't need a ton of hook setting power. If you're fishing lighter baits, real small style hooks, I like this grip much better. I think you have more control over your bait in general. As far as the reel stem goes, again, that aluminum handle and then graphite body of this reel, very good sensitivity transfer for your bites. So that goes back to the build of the frame.
This is a little longer reel seat to allow for that pistol grip as well.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I was leaning towards, is the build of that stem being away from the rod there allows you to comfortably position your hand inside of there, even when you're wearing a glove, which is obviously, again, built for ice season. They thought of pretty much everything at the best possible price point that they can get into there.
Even
again,
at $40.
Like I said, if I bought them at $40 because I was astonished at how well built this reel was when it first came out. The other probably best thing about this reel, if you're just starting out with an inline style reel, you're going to end up with some backlashes per se. Now they do have the feature on the opposite side of the reel here, and I don't know about how
you can see,
fantastic our lighting is on here, but you have a spool tension knob, which is one of these little knobs on the side of the reel here, and you can tighten this thing up. So if you're using a bigger jig or a bigger lure for drop, that drop speed will change when you're doing that, and that basically prevents the spool from going faster than your bait is. And overrunning itself. Say you put a heavier bait on there and you just end up with a ball of line here. You know, it happens to most of us.
So, okay, first of all, let's back up a little bit. Why the inline reel? What is the benefits to the inline reel?
We should have started with that.
I know, we should have. I wanted to, but you were just on a roll.
Just off from that. The benefits of the inline reel is it reduces all of your line twist. So when you take the spool that you buy off the wall, it is the exact, well, for ice line, it is the exact same size as this spool that's on the reel. And that's actually something I was going to lean in towards.
Yeah, we're getting there, buddy.
When I took this off. So that was one of the things. And actually, now that I have this off, I can show you. The diameter of this spool is the exact same size as most 50 or 100 yard ice spools that you'd buy off the wall.
Correct.
So what you're going to do is when you put line on this, or you come to the reel shot and one of us puts line on there for you, is it transfers the memory from the factory spool directly onto this spool. You're not compressing it or stretching it at all. All the memory goes directly onto here. So what that in turn does when you put this back onto the reel,
and first of all, that was just a push button, right?
Absolutely.
That's so convenient.
That's the feature I was just going to talk to you about when you backlash it, is you can pop that spool off and straighten your line back out, slap it back on with literally the push of a button. You don't have to unscrew anything on the side of the reel at all. So goes hand in hand with what we were talking about. But so back to the memory side of things is when you have that memory in ice line, it ends up twisting your jig on the way down. Now, I've got a story about this when these first came out. It's probably one of the most eye-opening experiences that I've ever had with inline reels. I was fishing next to one of my best friends growing up in high school, and he just got a camera for Christmas. And I was like, man, that's really cool. And you know what? I just got an inline ice reel, and I haven't tested it out yet. It's the first time on the ice for me that year. So we go out, he's got a spinning reel, and I've got one of these. I just lined it all up. Put a 3mm tungsten jig on there. We're fishing like 16 feet of water, fishing for bluegills. Bluegills all over the camera. It was awesome to see that. I outfished him like 20-2. It's simply because when my jig went down there, it turned just maybe a quarter turn and stopped. And then bluegills were on it. His jig is sitting there just twisting in a circle, getting that memory taken out of it. I can't tell you how frustrated he was literally watching him look at his just sit there and spin and then swim over to mine and inhale it because it was sitting perfectly still.
And when you were talking about this, like with the inline and the ability, like you are going to backlash. And why would you think, okay, like why am I buying this reel for the backlash? there is a learning curve, and for me, I kind of often refer to it, it's like learning to use a bait caster for the first time.
Absolutely.
Because you still need to control the drop of the bait. Like Tyson said, with the fine-tuning adjustments on this thing, you still need to open the spool and kind of let that bait drop naturally. And even with my inlines, I still kind of control the spool drop.
Absolutely. So a lot of the times, most people will hold the spool. They want that spool tension to be a little looser, so maybe the reel's not doing all of the drop into the bait. Is a lot of times especially when you're fishing a school of crappies or a school of bluegills, you want to get that bait down there faster. I will put my finger on the spool, and because of the open spool design, with that pistol grip, I don't have to change my grip at all. I literally just put my ring finger on the spool, and I will actually pull my line directly out. So I'm not worried about backlashing it at all or creating any slack in the reel. All I'm doing is pulling it out. I'm holding this, and then once my bait gets to the correct depth, you turn the reel handle, that clicks in, and then you rack the jig in right away.
And see, now, now here's something that I do a lot with mine, is I'll actually won't engage the reel. So for those who don't know, this is how you loosen the spool. It's just a simple push button on the side, on the handle, right?
Correct. So instead of, we should talk about, that's one of the other key features of this reel, is instead of the trigger style that a lot of other inlines have, which I am not necessarily a big fan of, just because if you are wearing gloves, it just feels like it's in the way. So the handle is completely open for this, and normally when the trigger would be right there in front of your fingers. So the spool release is actually this button, and I don't know if we can get a good shot at that. The release.
There you go. Yep.
There we go.
Right
Okay.
here, yep.
Okay. Trying to get this in front of the blue shirt. Here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Okay. So this button right on the side of where your handle is actually, that pushes down, and that will in turn release the spool and allow that to spin.
Man, that's super smooth.
Absolutely. So it's a 5-bearing system, which makes it incredibly smooth. But that setting right there, I'm going to backlash that thing. If I just relied on the spool to drop my bait down, and I wasn't paying attention, inevitably that spool will continue to rotate even though maybe your jig hit the bottom or something like that. And that's where you end up with maybe a little bit of a mess on the side with your line. Hence why I said you pop that spool off with one little push of a button on the side of the spool.
That's so awesome.
Straighten your line back out, snap it back on.
So like I was gonna say, with mine, when I use it, and I have a couple of the trigger styles. I have the free fall, but then I also have the 1360-61, one of the original ones that came out. But what I like to do, like you were saying, is I like to control it. I gotta get my hand over here. But I like to control it, and I don't even want to engage my reel sometimes. I like to leave the ability to free spool in a pinch if I need to, if that fish goes down, or if I need to, just strip a little more line out. And then because you can control it, like Tyson said, I gotta go this way. I'm not trying to get in your personal space.
Oh, you're good.
But because I
over,
can control it with my hand, like Tyson was saying, I don't have to, have the reel engaged. So I can set the hook, still control the spool right here with my fingers, and then get into the reeling
Absolutely.
process.
You certainly can do that too. Now, a lot of people will do what you're saying is if they don't necessarily trust the drag system of the reel. One key feature of this does have that star drag on the side there, which a lot of the baitcaster style reels have, and a lot of people are familiar with. And that's just a simple twist of that to tighten that up. But it would be probably more safe to do that how you were explaining, to not even engage the reel until after you set the hook, because you're going to be able to feel how much drag you need when you lift that fish. So if you're fishing big bluegills and you're fishing 1 or 2 pound fluorocarbon, the ability to control that reel with your hand is invaluable. That's huge. And then again, once you get into fighting that fish, you turn that reel handle, engages the spool back up, and then you're fighting the fish with the reel. And then you can fine tune, as you're fighting the fish, you can fine tune the right. And then you can fine tune your drag with just the turn of a couple of fingers there, and go back into fighting that fish and successfully end it. I mean, how often times have you been fishing bluegills and a northern comes flying in and inhales your jig? To be able to use that star drag to loosen your drag on the fly is another key feature to this reel.
What do we got here? So as we're talking about some of the features here, Aaron, go to that zoom in cam one more time here. What is this little guy doing right here? What's that little button doing?
All right, so the little snap button, a lot of times you'll see this style switch on a lot of the trolling reels.
Yep.
So that's going to be your clicker, or in this case, it's going to be more of a bait feeder or a bait alert style switch that this reel has. So again, a lot of features packed into this little reel. Now, when you're going to use that is, say you're going to go on a trip to the Minnesota or Dakota region, where you're going to be renting a sleeper shack or something like that, and you're going to be on the ice and you plan on sleeping out there, but you still want to have lines in the water. So you need something to make some noise.
Yep.
What you're going to do is you're going to push that spool release button, and you're going to actually slide this towards the reel handle. What that's going to do is it's going to push a clicker into the gearing of this reel. What that's going to do is, I don't know, I can just get it nice and close to me.
Yeah. Oh, he's playing a little song for you.
Right.
And if you're in a sleeper shack, you wake up real quick.
Oh, you're going to hear this. It's going to, I mean, and the cool thing is there's very, very little tension on that. So, I mean, even though it's a very audible click, there's hardly any drag there. A walleye or a perch or a northern is going to be able to take that very, very easily. It's going to be loud.
Yep.
You know, because normally they're not just going to be softly swimming
they're-
away with
yeah.
it. I mean, they're going to hit it. If you're going to run live bait on this thing, that's going to be, you know, like
Hopefully.
just ripping line out of there. You're going to hear it really quick and wake up. Now, interestingly enough, I have fished like that before. I've used it on tip down style.
Oh, yeah.
For open water, or not open water, but for daylight hours. And I have made the mistake of running over to it because you hear it, you know, screaming away on you. And you go over there, and you end up doing one of those.
Yep.
You know, so you click to engage that spool, and it's just loud. You know, and then you basically just let everybody around you know that, hey, I'm hooked up.
I'm hooked up, right?
Yeah, there's fish over here.
Yeah,
Come
that
come
bent
in.
rod pad.
Yeah, come park right next to me.
Yeah,
You know,
right?
so you're gonna want to pick up that, and especially if you're here, you know, in maybe a crowded perch area or something like that. You're gonna want to sneak over there and click that off first, then set the hook.
Yeah, and then get to the reeling process.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the size of this thing is ideal too. It's super light with that graphite and that aluminum frame. I should touch on that as well. You can fish with this thing all day. You're not going to get tired.
Yeah, and the balance, I mean, you got it paired with a really nice rod right now. The balance of it too, with the ability to adjust it up and down the cork, or even with the rods that come standard with the reel seat, is key. But this thing is extremely lightweight.
Absolutely.
But yet still durable. Can you talk about, like, do you know exactly what the spool is made of and why that maybe is important? I stumped you there, right? But I mean, why is a good durable spool in this situation important for a free fall or a inline reel like this?
Okay, so do you want to enlighten me on what the spool's made out of?
Yeah, no, I just keep going, brother. Yep, just keep
Okay,
going. You're fine.
so the spool is definitely a molded plastic spool, but it's all one piece. So a lot of the other spools are going to have moving components in here. This is all one piece with an aluminum back plate, so it's molded around an aluminum plate there. So you're not going to have anything really break or any fractures that happen with this. Of all the years selling these, I think these, like I said, have been out since 2018. The amount of time that these have been out, I have never once heard of an issue with the spool on these ever.
Yep.
The cool thing is, because these spools are removable, they sell these individually. So the other ability that the spool has, because you can change them so quick, is say you wanted to go from I'm gonna go bluegill fishing with 1 pound fluorocarbon, and then my buddy invites me to go walleye fishing over in the Fox River.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to use 1 pound out there. I also don't want to strip all my brand new 1 pound line off and have to put 10 pound braid on here.
Correct.
Well, if you've got an extra spool laying around for these that you picked up, you know, maybe for just in this circumstance, one push of a button, pop that spool off, pop the other one on, thread that braid on, tie your jigging wrap on, and you're off and running.
So you kind of led perfectly into my next question. Like, so this reel is clearly powerful enough to start targeting bigger fish than just panfish.
Absolutely. Yep. So the only thing I would hesitate on using it solely as a game fish reel is the gear ratio. That's
Okay.
the only thing. The drag is plenty strong enough. The reel will hold up fantastic. And most of the time, honestly, the only reason I say that is because sometimes you get a walleye that runs up towards the hole or something like that, and it's going to be, you're going to have to reel a little bit faster to keep up with the fish. That's the only concern that I would personally have. But the ability to interchange between panfish and game fish is just huge. Like I said, you only need one reel then versus having multiple different rods for all the different species. You can go with one and interchange those spools to have the right line for the right fish. And again, 99% of the time, you're never going to have that issue.
You're not going to have that issue. And one thing that you kind of hit on there too a little bit is this actually has a gear ratio to it, a reel ratio. I mean, when they first came out, it was 1-to-1.
It was 1-to-1, yep.
And it took forever. If you're in 30 feet of water and you're fighting that fish solely on the reel, it was forever. Or if you had to, if it stripped your bait or whatever.
Absolutely.
Now that they have a ratio to this reel, that helps speed up the process. Haha, get it? Speed up the process.
Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 2.7. That was gonna. I thought it was either a 3.1, which I know that's out there, or it was gonna be that 2.7. That 2.7 is just fast enough for pretty much everything.
Yep.
Especially through the ice. Fish are mostly gonna be that kind of lethargic. You know, they're just poking around, eating. They're not gonna be super aggressive as far as their long runs and stuff go, unless you're fishing lake trout or something like that. Then I would avoid this reel in that circumstance.
Come see Tyson. He'll hook you up with something different.
Right. We'll get you into something that'll handle that. But as far as pretty much everything in Wisconsin water, with the exception of targeting those big, like northern pike or lake trout or big brown trout, this reel is going to pretty much handle everything else.
Yeah, and at that $40 price point on the normal side of it, I mean, you're getting it $10 off, $30. And you think about it, why are we talking about ice equipment right now? Well, it's time to start stocking up. And we've hit so much often on like the fact that here today, maybe gone tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That is literally a thing nowadays. Like we can't just call up 13 Fishing and be like, hey, we need more of these descent reels. And then it might be like, hey, they're 6 weeks, 8 weeks out. Like talking to Mike in archery, some companies are 16 plus weeks out of availability right now.
It's crazy.
We have this reel, this left-handed reel in stock right now, and we're going to give you $10 off. And if you are a Fixed TV subscriber, you could use that $5 coupon to take an additional $5 off. So I mean, up to $15 off right now on this reel. This is one thing that at that price point, don't buy one, buy two.
Or six.
Or six, right? Like take advantage. I mean, and we have a good amount, but a lot of these products we're talking about, it's not like an infinite amount. Like we're looking at right around 30 of them right now in stock on thereelshot.com. At this price, those could literally be gone in 24 hours. We've seen it before.
Absolutely. So the other thing I can say about that is I missed out on these 2 years ago. I bought new ice rods, and I was like, all right, I'm going to put all the sense on them. I already knew what I was going to do. Well, there's only right-handed ones left by that time. I think it was February, early February, and they were sold out for the season.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of like, well, it is a matter of, like you said, weeks. But we're talking potentially months at this point right now. You know, these companies just aren't manufacturing some of the ice stuff at this time. This reel might not be available until early November or something like that this year. And that's even just a guess.
That's a guess.
I mean, honestly, everything for ice season this past year, we saw it. Everything was delayed like a month to 2 months. So nothing is promised to come in on time at all, especially going forward. And so right now, to be able to scoop up one of these or multiple of these at such a great price, can't pass it up.
It really is a no-brainer, and you got to take advantage of. Again, we're talking about the 13. This is the 13 Fishing Descent Ice Reel. It's the 2.7-to-1. This is the left hand. You said we do have some right-handers available. Or
I believe there's a couple in store.
Yep.
That are in the back. I think I saw a couple the other day when I was poking around back there. 90% of people that are ice fishing are using left-handed. Yep.
Think about it this way. If you reel with your spinning rod on your left hand or your spinning reel on your left hand, you're going to want a left-handed inline reel.
Absolutely.
Now, the question I have is, you hit on it before, is spooling this up. Is there anything different to spooling this up than there is like a spinning reel per se or a spin cast reel? Is it that just easy? It doesn't go on any differently?
Well, so just like any spinning reel, what we do here is we pop the spool off and spin it up that way. If someone's going to do this at home, very, very simply, thread it up through the rod, And then I use what's called an Arbor Knot. You can look that up at home, and tons of YouTube videos on it. Super simple knot. Tighten it up on there, and the biggest thing is if you're going to do this at home, the inline reels are much easier to do than a spinning reel. Just simply because when you do a spinning reel at home, you're automatically adding memory into the spool, correct, regardless of how you put it on at home. We get that question a lot, like, you know, hey, I did this at home. I don't know, what do I have the label up or the label down on the spool? Honestly, it depends on what side what side of the spool the company put the label on.
Right.
So it differs from company to company, and that's something that we just don't keep track of. So if you're going to do this at home, this is super easy. You do the old pencil method. Put the pencil through the spool, and then if it's coming off the top of the spool, you want it to go, or with this reel's onto the top of the spool, you want it to come off the top of the spool at home.
Okay.
Yep, so you want to transfer that memory directly over. So again, off the top, onto the top, just to keep everything universal. When you do a spinning reel, like I said, you have to have it on its side, and then it'll flip on you, and then you lose track of, okay, now I got to flip it over this way, and it's much easier to do inline reels at home.
It's
but
even easier yet just to come into the reel shop
I would, personally, that's what I do. Is even if I did not work in a fishing retail store that spooled a ton of line, which we do, I would still bring it in and have it done personally. Yeah. It takes all the worry and all the memory out of it to begin with, and you can go in and pick the best line that's going to be for your situation by talking to one of the people that work in the shop.
Well, plus the other thing that's nice about that is if you do lose a fish of a lifetime, you can't blame yourself. You can come in and blame Tyson and be like, oh my God, you spooled my line on wrong. And it's like,
oh man.
But we can get it a lot tighter on the spool here.
Correct.
Get it on the right way. We get the right amount. And that's the next question I have is, what is the right amount of line? Like you guys have a gauge for your spinning reels. Right. How do you know when the right amount of line if you are going to spool this reel up at home?
So if you're going to do it at home, just assume that you had bought, say, a spool line off the wall here. Now, ice fishing line is very particularly sold in small quantities. You certainly can get 300-yard spools of it if you're going to go with a mono. I personally, with an inline, always recommend a fluorocarbon.
Okay.
Always recommend fluorocarbon. Or if you're going to do heavier game fish or something like that, with another spool, like I said, go to a small amount of backing and then braid on top of that. But the reason I go fluorocarbon over monofilament is because most of the people go with monofilament because they're afraid of that coiliness that fluorocarbon has. When you're dealing with fluorocarbon at the 3 pound and under, not a whole lot of memory.
Right.
Even less memory when you put it on an inline reel.
Perfect.
So you don't have to worry about it coiling up or twisting up on you when you put on fluorocarbon onto an inline style reel. It's much more user friendly then, and they sell fluorocarbon in 50 and 100 yard spools exclusively. So that being said, I wouldn't really worry about a whole lot about how much to put on. Empty the spool on there. You're going to have 50 yards on there, which is 150 feet. The chances of you fishing in a lake where you're ever going to run out of 150 feet of line, right, slim to none in the state of Wisconsin.
You're fishing for lake trout, and
absolutely,
that's a whole other setup.
Absolutely. So. Or you're fishing smelts for some reason in the middle of the bay, which I don't know why you'd be doing that, but you know, some people might. Use a different reel at that point, I would say personally. Or get a 100-yard spool and put it on there, and this will take 100 yards of 2 or 3 pound. Without any problem. Without any problem.
Yeah. So again, everybody, that's a 13. That's a decent ice reel. The 2-7-1. That's the left-hand reel. $10 off. Normally $40 retail. $30 right now. 13FDIR is the product code you're going to enter into the reelshot.com. But we're not done yet. We still got more amazing products coming at you here on TRS Live. What is next? You're seeing it again. We're staying with that ice fishing theme, talking about a tip up here from Frable. So this is going to be awesome. Frable Pro Thermal tip up here, TRS Live, all about saving you money. And a big thing too is if you have any questions, any concerns, reach out to the Reel Shot Facebook page, social media page. You can call Tyson himself. Thanks so much, Tyson, for joining us. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. Hey, it's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Okay.
Welcome back, TRS Live. We're all about saving you money, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And again, I am so happy to have Mr. Lance Kozik joining me in here today. Dude, are you stoked?
I am. I'm stoked. Happy to be here talking about another great product. Can't wait to get into this one with you.
So again, Lance Kozik, for those who don't know, works the e-commerce here at The Real Shot, among a million other things he does throughout Fixed TV and all the other corporations that we are working for. Plus, he's an avid outdoorsman. You ice fish, you deer hunt, turkey hunt. We've gone to Missouri before.
Yep.
He's a really, really stellar guy, too.
Oh, I appreciate the kind words, Matt, but yeah.
So before we went to commercial, we introduced the next product. It's a Frable Pro Thermal Tip-Up.
Yes.
And as you're seeing it on your screen right now, here's the savings, $1 off. And as we let Tyson go, we ended with the 13 decent reel, and that was, hey, I did ask him, and he said it was pretty decent.
Yes.
He loved it. He said it was his number one.
That's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
His number one reel. But the thing about it, Lance, is why people are going to ask, why are we talking about ice fishing in June? Well, the thing about it, if you do live in Wisconsin or the Midwest, it could snow and be cold again tomorrow. Like this spring and this winter never ended here.
That's a good possibility.
So like ice season is not that far away. Plus we're hitting on the fact that a lot of these products are available now.
Yep.
And we're selling it to you at a discount, so you better take advantage of the discounts here. And this one is so good, I'm coining this one, ding, the TRS Real Deal.
Oh, I like it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to hit on this real quick. So here's the deal. $19.99 normal retail price. $18.99 is what you're getting it for today. FPTTU. You see it on your screen. Add it to your cart at therealshot.com. Hey, the other thing I've been reminding people is if you're a Fixed TV subscriber, what are the benefits for that?
If you're a Fixed TV subscriber, you'll have an opportunity to email me. We're gonna chat back and forth a little bit.
That's a benefit in itself.
I'm gonna get you signed up at therealshot.com. You'll create an account at the beginning of every month. I'm gonna load $5 onto your account.
What?
Which is it's not a coupon. It's not $5 off. It is $5 to spend at therealshot.com. So that's gonna happen every month as long as you're a Fixed TV subscriber.
Every month?
Every month, and that subscription costs $5.99. So really, for 99 cents. You are getting access to all the content we produce, all the content that you're going to see, Head-to-Head, Jake Jacobs, The Guided Life, so on and so forth. We're adding more, what seems like every day. Like you know as well as I do that
Every day.
It doesn't stop. So
yep.
It's a really great deal. Hop on, take advantage of that. And not only does that help you purchase more things at therealshot.com, it helps support us. It helps us create more content. It gives us more opportunities to kind of break away from some of that mainstream media stuff. And be able to, go with our own content and be able to produce things the way we want to be produced and not be handcuffed by some of the bigger companies and corporations. So it helps move everything forward. Helps
it
move
does.
the industry forward. So.
Not only does TRS stand for the reel shot. It's totally rad savings too. I mean, holy man, think about that.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this product. So the Frable Pro Thermal Tip-Up. Really simple. It is insulated on the bottom side with some foam, plus it's that circular design, so this will fit an 8-inch hole perfectly. And in wintertime, that's important because you want to keep the hole from freezing over.
Yeah, I mean, that is by far one of the biggest advantages of this particular style of tip-up is those cold Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan days when you're out there fishing. You don't want to be running out in sub-degree temperatures and chiseling your hole free of ice every 15 minutes or so. So the insulation, game changer.
It is a game changer, and I personally am a fan of the circle design tip-ups. I really like those. I started fishing a Frable circle design tip-up a long time ago, and this is my go-to for that exact reason. I don't have to go make a styrofoam cover to cover my hole if I'm using, you know, some of the other styles. I know that once I put this down there, and I can even pack a little snow around it to really help protect it, insulate it even more, even though there's insulation on the bottom, that it's going to you know, really protect it. The last thing you want, everybody, is this flag going up and you running over there and you notice that your hole's froze over. Now you're potentially fighting a fish of a lifetime and you can't get it out because you're chiseling the line or the hole free. Next thing you know, you hit the line, you potentially break it, and you let that fish go. So this is a really awesome feature. The other thing too is a lot of people don't realize this, or maybe they do. This is the perfect size to fit in a 5-gallon pail.
Yes, and I mean, growing up ice fishing, what is one thing you see every angler out there with?
A 5-gallon pail.
5-gallon pail, yes, 100%. So that's a match made in heaven.
It is. So it's stackable. So you drop a number of these in a 5-gallon pail. They stack on top of each other. You can see here I've been collapsing the spool that's on the bottom side here. You know, it fits in there nice. I don't have to worry about it wiggling and coming out. It sits in there so nice. The flag, you've been watching me play with this too. The flag is actually the flag portion, not so much the rod. The flag portion is extendable, and it's a hard plastic. I like that too, because I've had flags freeze down to the ice or they rip off, and then you got to zip tie them on there. The other thing that when you need zip tie them on there, that just adds extra weight.
That's true, yeah.
This thing is made to be balanced really well, and plus if you look right here, there's a notch out. What, you know what that's made for?
What's it for, man?
It's for a light.
Oh yeah, yep.
So you can have
Frable,
some of the
shiner,
Frable lights.
Little shiner, yep.
You can put that on here too, and as if I flip this around, I'm actually going to leave it open here, Lance, because this thing is so cool to play with. Look at this. I've been playing with this too. Tackle storage right there.
Yeah, again, one of those great places you can put your extra line stops. You can put your line markers in there, hooks, sinkers, whatever you got right in that little compartment there.
That little compartment right there. You can maybe store your light in here, so if it's not obviously dark out, you can put the light back in here. You know what it is, you know where it is when it is time to go ahead and grab it. There's a ton of features. You know, talk about features too here. I don't know if Aaron, can we zoom in here a little bit? Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you that there's a cork top to the top portion of this spool.
And they haven't always been like that.
No.
I have some like original ones, and what do you end up doing? You put your treble hook in the styrofoam, and after a season or two, there's not a lot of styrofoam left. So putting the cork on there is a really good thing to keep your hook secure and keep it on there without tearing up the rest of your equipment.
Correct. That cork line keeper, or that hook keeper on top, like some of my older models too, they had a line or a hole in the bottom of the spool.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So then you put that in there, but the thing about it is you don't need to pinch it in super tight. Like the way this closes up, there's plenty of room for your treble hook to stay on there where you're not going to worry about it becoming snagged up with anything else. So that little bit of cork up there is not only going to help protect it, keep it in place a lot longer, but you're not going to be dulling the point of that hook as badly as if you were, like you said, to run it through the plastic. Or I've seen so many of my buddies, right, if they are running a wire leader on there, they end up wrapping it all around. So what I end up doing with mine, and Lance, maybe you fish your tip-ups a little bit differently, is I will run tip-up mine.
Okay.
But then typically what I'll do is I'll run it to a braid leader.
Okay.
I'll put a barrel swivel. I'll give myself like 3-4 foot of that braided leader.
Yep.
The one reason I like to do that is because it still allows me to fish multiple species, not just northern pike, but I have caught walleyes that way too, because that braid, a little more invisible in the water, and that smaller diameter still lets me get away with it. And I know a lot of people will run mono or fluoro leads when the walleyes get really, really picky. But I can go from that 50-pound, 100-pound braid and run straight to pike and still run a 20, 30-pound braided leader and get away with it if a nice walleye were to cruise through. So, I mean, there's so many benefits that you can do when you are tip-up fishing, and this Frable Pro Thermal tip-up is going to help you be more successful out there.
And that's one of the things I also want to touch on is the name of this tip-up, Frable, right? They've been in the game for so long, creating so many products. Great products that have proven, stood the test of time. They keep on making little advancements to them that make them better. You know when you're getting a Frable tip up that you're getting something that's been tested, that's been proven, that you're going to be happy with for years to come.
The ingenuity, again, in this simple circular design here, look at this. It's even got a handle for when you're spooling this thing up. Like in a day, remember with some of these other ones, you got to spool it right here with the fingertip, right? Now I have the ability with the handle that I can go ahead and grab it and spool, and I'm not sitting there for hours and hours trying to get that line. If you got a big fish that makes a long run, that is one of the things that sucks the most.
And that little feature there is kind of a lifesaver, because I almost get PSD every time I see these. Because how many times have you gone at the end of your ice fishing trip, you're like, I should go in soon, I should go in soon. You stay a little bit too long, all of a sudden sun's going down, you're picking up tip-ups, and you are frozen. Your fingers can't move, you can't do all those other things. These little features save a little bit of time. As minute as you might think they are, they actually do save some time, save you a little bit of that pain of the cold, sometimes on those real brutal winter days.
So saving time, we're here to save you money, man, and that's what we're gonna do is we're wrapping up this TRS real deal here on TRS Live. Let's go over it one last time. So $19.99 is the normal price of this tip up, and I would pay that every day of the week. Right.
Yep.
If you are
I have paid that every day. I have bought them at that price. Yes, I have.
I'm guilty as charged. But if you are a tip-up angler and you are in the market for an upgrade or you are looking to add to your arsenal, I would totally look at the Frable Pro Thermal tip-up. We talked about the storage compartment. We talked about the simple idea of the cork hook holder on top of it, the adjustable plastic flag that's going to add to the durability, the simple addition of the spindle here on top of the spool to save you time and save you efficiency, but we're saving you money. So take advantage of $1 off, $19.99 normal price, $18.99. You want to tell them the code that they got to find?
Yeah, I can. It's FPTTU. So FPTTU. Again, like always, you'll see that top left corner of the screen that you're watching right now. Type that into the search bar at therealshot.com. It's going to bring the product right up, add it to your cart, and away you go.
And this is the time of year, everybody. I mean, we're getting into summer. I hope you're planning on enjoying your summer. But don't forget that ice fishing is, boy, we just got out of it, but it's not too far away.
Yeah.
And it's present time. It's Father's Day time. This is the ideal time to go ahead and snatch up this great deal. So I like to do this on some of these products, and I like to give it the MAT rating.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you were in here last time, we gave it a 9. Dude, is it too much to say? Like for a tip up, this is a 10 out of a 10?
For the application, for its design, I mean, there's other tip ups, right, that have their places, but for what this is, it's a proven design, and it works great. If you want to give it a 10, hey, I say you're justified. Go for it.
Yeah, it's my show. I can do what I want.
That's
so in the
right.
circle tip up category, this Frable Pro Thermal tip up is a 10 out of a 10. A lot of storage, a lot of high-end features. $19.99 normal retail price. Take advantage of that $1 off. $18.99. There is a good supply right now, but I guarantee that this one is going to go really, really fast, especially with ice fishing still on the mind of a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I would agree.
So Fix TV members, don't forget, if you are a subscriber over to the Fix TV platform, where, hello, you got to watch Head to Head on there.
Yep.
So you want to have to subscribe to that anyways to get the live chat. You're going to be able to chat with myself and Brian. You got to go to Fix TV, become a subscriber. You're automatically getting a $5 credit to use on TRS Live for this product right now. So, and you also get to talk to this guy through an email.
Yeah, we'll be sending emails.
That's probably worth $100, really. So, all right, everybody. Well, again, some great products here on TRS Live. Some great guests again today. I want to thank Tyson and Paul and Lance and, you know, some of the great guests that we've had come in here through TRS Live. And if you do have any questions, don't be afraid while you're subscribing, you're liking, you're following to TRS Live on the socials, the Real Shot on their socials. Drop us a message. Give us a testimonial. Let us know that you are having success. Throw some hashtags out there. Hashtag TRS tagged out, TRS Outdoors, TRS Live. Give us some shout outs. Like, subscribe, share it. Tell your friends that they need to be watching TRS Live as well. We're going to get out of here. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you real soon.